So 125 is coming out relatively soon, and there's going to be multiple ways of obtaining it, which I'll probably talk in another video. But today's video, we're talking about 125 priorities for people that are pushing World 14 soon. The new hardest content in the game, quote unquote hardest content. Probably, yeah, it actually is going to be the hardest content. Once we get World 14, that's going to be the new testing grounds, proving grounds for people to show off their high level ships in future content, whatnot. So I believe as of right now, the 125 cap should be arriving in a few weeks, probably less than that, but more than likely like maybe 2 weeks or less is what I'm expecting the 125 update to drop. Now they're going to add the ways of obtaining it with the dailies and whatnot, which I'll talk about another video, and I will. But this video, we're talking about priorities into 125 ship and how you're going to want to distribute this properly for the most part. Since we're getting World 14 by the end of the year, I'm expecting World 14 to drop sometime in maybe 2 weeks to a month after the 125 cap comes out. We're going to have probably a few weeks to prepare for World 14 on release. Now again, permanent content, right? Don't have to rush it, but some of us are going to rush it regardless of whether people are going to tell us not to rush or people are telling us to rush. We're going to play it regardless, me included. I'm going to try to clear World 14 as soon as the update goes live. With that being said, priorities. What do we want to prioritize with leveling when it comes to 125 ships? Now, most of you guys should know this. If you guys don't already, go ahead and do whatever. Obviously, to the people out there that are into waifu gaming, 125 the ships that you like first, do that obviously. If you don't care about doing World 14 or whatever, don't worry about this video. Just level cap the ships that, or raise the cap of the ships that you want. Okay. Now, for the people that really want to get the most out of these 125s, here's what you do. The biggest priority ships as of right now on my list. I'm gonna go down this whole roster with you guys, and we'll talk about the ones that are very good to 125. Now, I don't have to say much. Obviously, people know this ship a lot. The strongest battleship in this game, uncontested, New Jersey. A high priority ship to 125. Why? Because this ship does a lot of damage, and if she's working with a deficit, she won't be doing as much damage. So when you raise that level cap by 120 to 125, let's say the enemy ship is 126 or higher, you're now doing 10% more damage from the 10% damage reduction dealt that you were doing beforehand. So now, let's say Soryu Maeda, for example, she's level 126 at level 15. 126 versus a 120 is a 12% damage reduced 12% reduced damage. So New Jersey right now is working at 12% less damage. But if you raise her to 125, she's doing 2% less damage, which is a bigger increase compared to 12% less damage. So she's going to perform a lot better, a lot better. So New Jersey, being the extremely powerful battleship that she is, has a very high priority in being one of the top priorities for 125 when you have her when the level cap, whatever, gets released. Now, going down the list some more, Arc Royal, I believe, is another good candidate for 125. Now, I wouldn't say she's like the best priority, but she is definitely one of the best damage dealers in this game by far. Raw, high stats, good splits of torpedo bombs or whatnot, good damage altogether, especially with assault carrier, a good priority ship. With that being said, though, she's lacking in fighters. If the World 14 or whatever is a airplane world again, it could be, who knows, then she's not going to be as good there, so she won't be as effective. But if you're into like meta 15s, or you want to do like speed runs for, like, I don't know, whatever content, you can blow things up very fast, Arc Royal is a good candidate for this 125 cap. And then we have the PvP stuff. I'm not going to talk about the PvP stuff. You guys probably know the big deal about that. Benito, Aquila, New Jersey, and all that jazz, and so forth, right? Also, yeah, New Jersey's also good in PvP as well, too. So New Jersey's pretty much good everywhere that you want to use a battleship. So high candidate for 125, right? Now, next one, Shinano. Shinano, I don't have to talk much about her. A lot of people like using her. Very strong ship, very strong utility. Altogether, a very powerful ship. Can be either a torpedo bomber or use a fighters as well. Solid choice to be 125. If you're looking for a choice, she's also one up there. So coincidentally, two of the three UR gacha ships, Shinano and New Jersey, are very good for 125 caps, 125 increases. Now FDG, we've been through this before. Now I personally would wait until she gets the Fate Sim 5 simulator. It could make her very, very powerful. We don't know yet. But if she is again a Fate Sim 5, I would wait first to see what she's gonna get. If they make her extremely powerful to the point where she's actually like up there again in terms of like damage and whatnot, then I would say she's another good candidate for 125 cap. But first, let's wait for the Fate Sim 5 simulation to see if she gets any good buffs and whatnot. Then we'll talk about if she's a good candidate for 125. But keep it as a maybe right now for FDG. Now, I believe Georgia is also a good candidate. If you guys are looking for another battleship to work on, Georgia is another good candidate. But first, I would recommend as well again to do the Fate Sim 5. What Fate Sim 5 is important here because she gains this part of the Iron Sight caliber, which is increased its damage dealt to CVs and CVLs by 10%. So extra damage gives her more utility altogether. Good ship if you're looking for some good boss damage and whatnot. Going down the list. So you have some good debuffers like Duke of York, Howe. These are also good candidates as well. They're not top priorities, but they're good candidates. Duke being a really good debuffer, and Howe being a really good utility ship with the reload and the accuracy. So these two are very good candidates. Now, Perseus is a good ship. Now, the reason why I don't recommend Perseus being 125 is because she's more of a support ship. She obviously does damage. She does a lot of damage in mob setups. But for the most part, a lot of people, when they're doing high level content, they're struggling with the boss setups most of the time, not the mob setups. So Perseus obviously is going to be in the mob setup. She's not going to struggle there because there's Perseus. Perseus can make any content easy. So I wouldn't really focus too much on her unless you have just a lot of those new awakening ships or whatever for 125 cap lying around. Then I would go ahead and do that. But in terms of high priority, I wouldn't say she's top priority, but I would say she's top priority, just like a notch down. And then we have Nagato. Nagato still reigns supreme as the premier flagship for most IGN setups, torpedo bombing, torpedo booming, and whatnot. Probably not in just raw carrier setups, you wouldn't use her, but still a very powerful ship with the fleet buff and whatnot. If you're playing full IGN, you're looking for another good option, Nagato. Can't go wrong with that at all. Can't go wrong with Nagato. Scrolling down the list. Now we have some other good ships like Richelieu, whatnot. Richelieu is good for like HE setups. If you're doing like light armor content, she's very good there. So if you want to work on another battleship that needs to have more variety instead of just AP all the time, you want HE, Richelieu is a solid choice there. Now I believe that covers all the ships I want to talk about. Obviously most of them are going to be the backline ships. The reason why is because backline is going to be most of your meat damage unless you're doing torpedo stuff. But I wouldn't recommend doing torpedo stuff in World 14 unless you know what you're doing. So most of us are going to do backline damage, right? And backline damage, you want to make sure you're not working at a huge deficit. So you want to beef up that damage. So backline has the highest priority, especially the damage dealers. You want to prioritize those. After that, you want to prioritize maybe your supports a bit. And then, when you're really, really confident, I would suggest 125ing, when it comes to vanguards, 125 the durable ships for your vanguards. Because when it comes to vanguard setups, you're still alive if you have at least one vanguard alive. So, if you're gonna make sure you want to survive the hardest fights, give your 125 to the tankiest members. So ships like Azuma, ships like the recent German large cruiser, which I'm not going to say the name of, Azuma and her, those are good candidates there. And if you guys don't have them invested into, just pick whatever tanky ship you have, Drake, Anchorage, stuff like that. Any heavy cruiser could work. I would prioritize the large cruisers first because they have a giant health pool and not to mention better armor. So prioritize those first. After that though, just work on whatever tanky ships you have. Damage dealing vanguards is nice and all, but some of them aren't that tanky, so I don't want to put big focus onto them. Focus on the ships that are going to be durable and long lasting, so you don't sink when it comes to those sorties that you're going to be in there for like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and so forth. Make sure you have that durability. So that's the end of this video. Those are my high priorities as of right now for 125ing. New Jersey, Ark Royal, Shinano, FDG is a maybe. Georgia is another one. If you want to do some supports as well, Duke of York and Howe, not the top tier, but like a notch down. Basically, anyone that does damage and anything that offers like some kind of backline boss setups is what you want to aim for here. Mob setups is nice too, but worry about the mob setups after you're done with the backline setups for your boss setups. And then after that, work on making one of your vanguards extremely tanky so you don't sink. And then slowly just branch out and start awakening the 120 ships you have to 125 that you personally like or that you personally need for certain content. So that's my video for you guys. Good luck on how you use your new material when we get the dailies coming out, probably by Thursday. And then I will make another video talking about the material altogether and how to farm it and all that jazz. And yeah, that's going to be fun.